Good morning, student. The chapter today which we are going to do is force and pressure. So very interesting chapter. So as we start the chapter, here are some of the list of activities given to us. So this list of activity is related to force. And before reading these activities, you're going to see the definition of force. The push and pull involved is known as force. So any activity in which push and pull is involved, that is known as force. So we will see the examples now. Number one, holding a brick in the palm of our hand, the brick pushes our hands downward in order to prevent back from falling. You push the brick upward. So here what happens, whenever we are holding a brick in the hand, the brick will always be moving downward, but a hand will be pushing the brick upward. Then in village, water drawn from the well, we need to pull the bucket. And then we have football. In order to kick the football, we must kick it. So we must push it harder. Then in order to squeeze the ball, we must push the ball. So in this activity, we see we are applying the push. And in some cases, if the horse, in order to pull the cart, it needs to pull. So in that case, it is able to pull the cart behind it. And in order to close the door, we either need to push and pull. So in all this activity, we see that either push or pull is applied. So with this, we come to a conclusion that any push and pull involved is known as force. Now next topic is, how does a force arises? Now in order for force to arise, the main thing we need to know is it can only be interaction between two or more objects. It cannot be in single object. So two or more object is required for the interaction of force or for force to rise. So the activities which we saw just now, okay, in order for bricks to apply force, we need a bricks and a hand. In order for a ball to move, we need to kick the ball, and a ball is required. So two objects are there to interact. And in order to squeeze the ball, we again need a hand and a ball. So even two interaction of ball and hand is there. And a force exerted on the nail movement, striking with hammer. So whenever we are striking a nail with a hammer, for that also we need a hammer and a nail. So in all these activities, we see that more than two objects, or in some cases three objects, can also be required. So two or more objects is required. So the main thing in order for force to rise is the interaction between two or more objects. Now we understood that. Now we see some of the effects of the force. So first effect is changing in shape. So we have a picture out here where we see someone is making chapati, and a man is making different shapes of balloon, and rubber band is being stretched, and clothes are being dried out. So out here there are some examples given to you. So whenever we are making chapati, first we take a small dough, and whenever we are applying force with the object, like you can see in the diagram, first there is a small dough, and later on, after applying pressure, after applying force with that chapati making tool, you find that it takes the shape of a chapati. And there's a rubber band out here. Whenever we are pulling the rubber band, it stretches. And again, there's a person out there who is making different item with the rubber band, with the balloon. So first of all, it's the normal balloon, but after some time, whenever he's twisting and turning, he's making the balloons in different shape. And the wire out there, before the coat is hanged, the wire is normal. So whenever the coat along with the hanger is put in the wire, you see the wire. So the wire loosen up. Before applying the shirt and the hanger, the wire is not so loosen up. So with all this activity, we see that whenever a force is applied, there is change in shape. But we must know that every time whenever we are applying force, there might be some cases when the changes of shape might not take place. For example, if you are trying to push a rock, or if you are trying to crush a rock, a very big rock or stone with your hands, it's impossible to do, because the strength of the rock, or the matter of the strength of the rock is different, and it requires very much energy in order, it requires a large amount of force in order to change the shape of those rock. But in this activity we see that you can change the shape. Then forces can change the state of motion. Next one. So we have an experiment out here, but I'll just explain you. So if you keep a ball on the ground, until and unless you move the ball with a hand or leg, the ball will not move. Or you can see in the diagram, there is a ball in your hand, and if you are throwing into the wall, it will again reflect back. So at the end, the conclusion we derive is, in order to move any object, we must apply some force. If you just keep the ball on the ground, it will not move on itself, but we need to apply some force. So as the activity says out here, change of state. So before it was in some state, as soon as you apply the force, it will start moving. So we can say that change, according to that, we have some conclusions out here. Change the shape of an object. Whenever we are applying force, it changes the shape of an object. Whenever we are applying force, it makes an object move. If it is in rest, like the example which I gave you right now, change the speed of an moving object. Suppose I'm throwing a ball, and suppose if you catch the ball, so speed moving ball you are able to catch, but you need to apply some force in order to catch the ball and change the direction of motion of a moving object. Suppose for that also we need to be applying some force. So with this we come to an conclusion about the force. Now force is measured by a unit known as Newton, and it is given out here, capital N. The unit that measures the force is Newton, and is defined with magnitude and direction. That means it has some numerical value and it has direction. So now we see some different types of forces. First one is contact force. Now contact force, as the name suggests, it is related with contact. So between the two objects, if you have to apply force, if a force need to be created, they need to be interaction, and interaction between two or more objects. In contact force, the interaction between two objects should be with a physical contact. For example, between contact force also we have muscular force. So muscular force is a kind of force in which muscle of our body is applied. Like the diagram given out here, horse pulling a cart. So as you can see, a horse is pulling a cart and its muscular energy is required. So this comes under muscular force. Okay, so according to the diagram, we came to a conclusion that if a muscular energy is applied for muscular force, as you can see in the diagram, the horse is in contact with the cart, so contact need to be out there. So muscular force is one of the example of contact force. Then another one, very important one, is frictional force. So this is a very important topic. So in friction, usually what happens, there's always a force which is always opposite to our force. There's always that means there's a force which is always opposing our motion, or anything we do, there's an opposing force out there. So it's a kind of a force which help us to control. Suppose you are throwing a ball into the ground, and after some times the ball will stop. The reason why the ball is stopping is because of the friction. So because of the friction of the ground. So friction is always opposite to the movement of the ball. So as soon as you throw the ball into the ground, friction of the ground starts acting on the ball, which is opposite to the direction of the ball, and after some point the ball will stop. Suppose if friction was not there, then if you throw the ball would be going on moving and moving. So same can be seen for us. So whenever we are walking on the ground to the direction opposite to our motion, friction is always acting out there, which help us to control our walk. So if friction was not there, we could have continued our walking. So in case of friction also, it is known as contact force, because friction is there in the ground. So our foot or our leg, our leg needs to be in contact with the ground, then only frictional force is applied, otherwise it's not applied. Then we have another one, that is another portion, that is non-contact force. So in non-contact force we have different forces. For first one is a magnetic force. So as the name suggests, magnetic force, it's a kind of force which is exerted by magnets. So we all have seen magnets. So what are the properties of magnet? It will attract each other. So there is an activity out here. So the red and the blue side. Okay. So there is something which you need to remember in magnet, that is like charges repel and opposite charges attract. So whenever the red and the red, those are like charges. So whenever those poles are brought very close to each other, they will not attract, but they will push each other. But if a blue and a red point, if those poles are attracted, those are known as a pole, that are maybe north and south. So if those poles are north and south are brought closer, they will attract each other. They attract each other. This is due to the magnetic force. Now after that, you have electrostatic force, a very important one.